Last weekend, I played a 70s themed drag show. Wasn't the weirdest gig I've ever played, tons of fun actually, and I got to use my Zoom in a gigging environment. So of course the Zoom is a fantastic practice tool, it's got a built-in drummer and a looper, but I wanted to see how well the effects would perform, in a live show. So today I'm going to show you the patch that I built and how I used it. Okay, I'm set up here with my Zoom pedal plugged into Amplitude. I've got the same bass that I used at the show. This is my Squier Classic Vibe Precision. And let's go through some tones. So let's start with everything bypassed first, and I'll show you what the clean tone sounds like. All right, just your standard direct in P-bass tone. So the first thing, and this is something worth noting, the Zoom pedal signal flow is backwards of real life. So even on the Zoom pedal itself, you'll go in from the right and out from the left. So bass goes in on the right, and then your output to your recording device or your amp or whatever. On the interface here though, it goes left to right. And I don't know why they decided to do that. Maybe just because we read left to right and they thought that would make more sense, but just good thing to know. So the first thing that I have on all the time is this compressor. And that just gives me a little bit of brightness. It evens out my peaks a little bit. Sounds like this. Cool, probably not a huge difference. The next thing that my bass hits is this Ampeg SVT preamp. So this would be like just having an Ampeg amp, and by itself it sounds like this. Got a little bit of drive in there, a little bit of warmth, sounds a little bit more like an amp. And then the very last thing is I have an SVT 8x10 cabinet simulator. And I didn't end up using this for the show because I was running from the Zoom pedal into my Rumble 500, so I didn't need a cab simulator because I effectively still had a cab. But this was really, really great for practice. It made it sound a little bit more real, and it sounds like this. All right, so the next thing that I have on here, the very first pedal in my chain, is this flanger. There's a lot of like modulation craziness going on in the 70s. It was really trippy, so I thought that this would be a fun effect to play with on a couple of songs. Cool. So the next pedal that I've got in here, you gotta have an overdrive of some kind, and this is basically Zoom's version of a BDDI pedal. It sounds like this. And everybody dogs on the Zoom multi-effects for their drive effects, including myself. And I've got to say, like, that's actually not bad at all. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go through how I actually use this for the show. So the first song that we did in the show was Come Sail Away. And what I did is I rolled my tone knob about halfway. Come Sail Away starts with just some long open whole notes, and I am playing closer to the neck. Later on in the song, when it kicks it up, I'm pushing my hand back towards the, right over the pickups, and then digging in a little bit harder, and then you get a slightly different sound, not even touching any of the controls. Dreams, where I turn the tone completely off, and we're playing this, what is it? Up two steps? We're playing it in the key of E anyway, so pushing my hand back again towards the neck so I can get some more rounder notes, and it sounds... life in the fast lane, and for this one, I actually do need a pick. So I've turned the tone knob all the way back up, and I'm playing a little bit closer to the bridge for this groove. There is a part in the song where it opens up on these big, huge chords, and this is where this flanger comes in, and it goes into this part. Okay, so the next song is Crazy on You by Heart. So again, this is a song that's playing a lot more really, really tight rhythm, and actually quite a lot of notes, so I continue to use a pick for this song. Also picking directly over the pickup if you didn't catch that. It does actually change quite a bit how everything feels. Picking here versus picking out down here. Next song, Sunshine of Your Love. This is a classic Cream song. You may remember in my How to Sound Like Geezer Butler how I mentioned the way he played was heavily influenced by Jack Bruce of Cream. And what that means is we're going to be plucking directly over the neck, but also rolling the tone all the way off and activating our overdrive. And that sounds like this. That sound I feel like is really unexpected, because normally with something like that you probably wouldn't think to turn the tone knob all the way off, but I feel like it makes it really nice and dark. Okay, next up, Life on Mars. I'm just turning the overdrive off, leaving the tone knob all the way down, and then playing towards the neck. Next was We Will Rock You by Queen, and my tone for that was I just turned the volume knob all the way off. There is no bass in this song. Next we play Heartbreaker, so I've got the tone and the volume knob all the way back up, and I'm back to using a pick. This song is a lot of fun. You just lock in with that guitar player, and then towards the end during the guitar solo, I'm kicking on the overdrive. Oh! The other important thing, I'm playing using all downstrokes. It's that punk thing, right? It sounds different. Alternate picking versus... Check this out. Okay, cool. Next is the fuse. We're back to using the same tone as what we did on Life on Mars. Tone all the way off. But this time I'm plucking a little bit more over the pickup. There are a couple of parts in this song that require a little bit more definition. Super interesting song if you haven't listened to it. I'll have the Spotify playlist I made for this linked down in the description if you want to go check it out. got next? Ooh, Rich Girl. I always mess up this song because Rich Girl is in one key, Jake and the Heist plays it in another key, and then for this show I had to play it in yet another third key. It was really hard to keep track of and I kept confusing myself in my mind. But the tone for this is pretty easy, but the main thing is that I'm playing a little bit closer to the bridge, but just finger style. I Will Survive. So this is like an old Motown-y kind of song. So for this one, I'm turning the tone knob all the way back off, leaving the Zoom pedal just normal, and then just playing directly over the pickups. Pretty standard stuff here. Next up, we've got Brass in Pocket. Now this is a song that probably not a lot of people recognize by the name of it, but you definitely remember it once you start to hear it. And this one's actually cool because I'm doing a little bit of palm muting using a pick. Next up, we've got Rhiannon, which is another one that I ended up using palm mute and a pick for. Kind of funny how some of these songs just sort of lined up for what I was doing. Next up, Hold the Line. So here's just another standard one where I just used tone knob wide open and just the standard layout on the Zoom pedal. And then finally, American Pie. So for this one, I'm doing the same trick as I was doing for Come Sail Away, where I'm turning the tone knob halfway off because I just like that middle ground where I have a little bit more like warmth, less top end, but I don't lose all of my definition. Yeah, that song is actually a lot more active on bass than people probably realize. So anyway, those are the tones that I used through the show. Really enjoyed using the Zoom. It was kind of fun to be able to just walk in there with so little and get so much out of it. The one problem that I did have with it, it didn't happen during the show, but it happened during rehearsals plenty, where I would accidentally hit both buttons when I was trying to turn a patch on or off, and that would effectively mute the pedal. The other problem that I had with it was it's really easy when you've got your hand up here to mess with everything, but when you have to turn pedals on, you have to go through and select the one that you want and then hit the button. And so I kind of had to prepare everything. I had to really know where I was in the music so that I could, okay, I'm going to use this one pedal for this one section of this song, so I needed to be ready to kick that on. Because if I was trying to like switch it over and I can only move it to the right through everything, I don't know. It's kind of hard to use that way, but if you're doing something like this where it's a show where there's pretty minimal effects, then the Zoom is great. It will not replace my main board because there's so much going on there. I could not fit it all onto the Zoom. There's just absolutely no way. Even putting it into the other like patch bay mode and like switching for different songs, it would just be so cumbersome and just not worth it. But again, for like a simple show like this, did great. I actually really enjoyed using it. It was really fun. I'm definitely going to be delving into some of the deeper features of the Zoom, using it at a little more advanced level, so be sure to subscribe for more of those videos. Anyway, AMP the bass player out! If you're already subscribed, you better have hit the like button by now, too. Just saying.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I don't know, maybe they didn't like it.
Well, then upstairs or whatever. They can...
Up theirs or whatever. Yeah, you tell them.
I'm